Hey, what's up? I got some more lore content for you guys. Alongside my recent 3 decks for beginners video, I also wanted to provide some more easy to craft decks for newer and intermediate players. I'll be covering each region one after another, that way you have a direction to go based on your favorite region. Hello, my name is Tempo and I've hit Master Tier every season since the beta, even peaking rank 1 multiple times on the North American ladder, and I will be your guide to Legends of Runeterra. And we're starting our journey in Demacia. So small disclaimer before I get into the first one, these decks won't be able to be crafted day one. These are primarily meant as solid cores to go for after a few weeks of playing and understanding which regions or playstyles you enjoy the most. If you want the easiest and most budget decks to craft, I recommend checking out my 3 decks for beginners video from a few weeks ago. That being said, let's talk about our first deck, and that is Dragons. Of the 3 decks that I'll be covering for this video, Dragons is definitely the easiest to craft and the most budget friendly. The coolest thing about the deck is that it is a very typical Demacia playstyle, which includes building up your board and using your big units to win combat over and over until you win the game. This deck will also be utilizing dragons to do so, which are a really cool card archetype that a lot of people enjoy. For the list specifically, we're going to be running Fleet for the Tracker in the early game, which is a 1-mana 2/1. When you summon another ally, grant me Challenger. Really nice to develop in the early game and then play units after it. That way you can challenge certain enemy units into combat and kill them when they want to develop them, so it's really nice for bench units. The next card is a new one that was just added to the game, a 2-mana 2/3, Dragon Allegiant. When I'm summoned, draw a dragon if you behold a dragon, so as long as you have a dragon on the board or in your hand, you will get the effect, which is really nice for consistency. Next we have 2 Form Up, 2-mana burst speed spell, give an ally +2/+2 this round. This is a Demacia classic. I recommend crafting this card right away if you want to play any Demacia decks. Next we have Herald of the Dragons, 2-mana 1/2, dragon allies cost 1 less. This is where a lot of the power of the deck comes from. If you're able to get Herald of Dragons down and also protect her, you can start playing your dragons 1 turn early, which is super strong. Next we have Double Pale Cascade, 2-mana burst speed spell, give an ally +1/+1 this round, and also draw 1 as long as this is not the first card you play in a round. So just like Form Up, we're going to be using this as a buff, however we lose 1/1, right, compared to Form Up, but we do get the draw effect as long as we play this second or later in the round. So it's super nice to just have some extra draw. Next we have triple Petrocite Broadwing, 2-mana 0/3, formidable. This unit strikes with its HP instead of its power, and that's really good. So in the early game you can have this hitting a 3 HP unit. Now a lot of early and even some mid-game champions have 3 HP, so Broadwing can trade up into them, and that's super awesome. Especially when you combine Form Up, then Petrocite Broadwing can be swinging for 5 damage. Next we have Double Single Combat, which is a strike spell. This is another classic Demacia card that I recommend crafting right away. It is a 2-mana fast speed spell. An ally and an enemy strike each other, so this is really good at dealing with more bench units that the opponent is trying to develop and like certain champions, and then we can just use our big units to kill them outright, which is super good. Next we have Double Dragon's Clutch, 3-mana burst speed spell. Draw 2 different dragons or grant dragon allies 1/1 and overwhelm. So this is a double value card. We can either use it to get more cards in our hand, refill our resources, and keep our dragon pressure going, or we can turn our existing dragons into big overwhelm dudes, so getting a nice +1/+1 boost on top of piercing damage helps you close out a lot of games. We have another strike spell. This is just like single combat, however it costs 1 more mana, but the trade-off for that is we get to heal 5 if our dragon survives the strike, which is super nice. So we can like strike something and our dragon will live with 1, and then boom, he'll also heal 5 and go back up to basically full HP, depending on how big it is. So yeah, really good card. Next we have our first dragon to talk about, and that is Wounded White Flame, 3-mana 2/3 with Fury. So our dragons have Fury. It's a like global keyword that most dragons share. It says when I kill a unit, grant me 1/1. This is from attacking and also from strike spells like Single Combat and Strafing Strike. So that's where the synergy comes in. You want to be developing dragons as early as you can, and then using them to constantly win combat or use like Single or like Strafing Strike and win that way. And that way you get to buff your dragon over and over and over. This scales infinitely, so super nice. Another really strong aspect about this card is that it has Faded. Faded says each round the first time an allied card targets me, grant me 1/1. So this can be your strike spell, or this can be Form Up or Pale Cascade. Anything that targets White Flame will give him a free +1/+1 boost, turning your buff cards into really strong buffs, right? So this is a +3/+3. This is also a +2/+2 draw. So yeah, just kind of insane. Next we have a random one of Yuumi. The reason that I'm running one Yuumi is because 3 Aurelion Sol can kind of make your hand inconsistent since he's very expensive, so you don't want to draw multiple Aurelion Sols. So we run a Sol at 2 and just 1 quick Yuumi. Yuumi is really nice because we can attach her to our allies, so it gives the stats to them. Also, round start, the unit will gain another +1/+1, so if we develop Wounded White Flame in the early game and attach it with Yuumi, it's going to just get absolutely massive. Yuumi levels if the attached unit attacks 3 times, and then she also gives it Spell Shield, which is extra protection, making it harder to deal with. Next we have Shyvana, which is one of our dragon champions. She's a 4-mana 3/4 with Fury, so she's really good at winning combat and getting bigger. On attack call, she gains +1/+1 for the round, and she also levels if dragon allies have dealt 16 damage over the course of the game. On level, she's a bit bigger, and also gains +2/+2 on attack call instead of 1/1, and she also creates a fleeting strafing strike in hand that costs 2, allowing you to get a free strike spell. Next we have Fuse Firebrand, which is a 5-mana 5/5 with Spell Shield and Fury. So Spell Shield makes it a little bit harder to deal with and also makes this card a fantastic target for single combat and also Strafing Strike. Because of Spell Shield, it makes it harder for the opponent to interact with our strikes, and we can get them off way more consistently. And we have Screeching Dragon here, 5-mana 4/5 with Challenger. So that's really nice. We get to determine what Screeching Dragon attacks, which is super good, especially since we have buffs and stuff like that. And Screeching Dragon will continue to grow as we kill very important mid-game units that the opponent is trying to develop. Rounding out the list with our top end, we have Eclipse Dragon and Aurelion Sol, which are actually like a combo into each other. So Eclipse Dragon is a 7-mana 7/7 with Fury, of course. It says Daybreak. The next dragon or celestial unit you play costs 2 less. So the next dragon you play, that's really nice. You're going to get a cost reduction. What's cool is that this cost reduction persists into the next round. So what you want to do is play Eclipse Dragon right on 7, and that allows you to play Aurelion Sol at a 2-minute discount, allowing you to play him on turn 8, which is really strong. The other effect of Eclipse Dragon says Nightfall, create a random dragon and celestial follower in hand. So that's really nice. You get a random dragon and celestial. If you want to see what the Celestials are, all you have to do is come up here to the slider button, click that, and scroll down and click on Celestials. That way you can see what you have access to. And finally, we have Aurelion Sol himself, 10 mana 10/10. He's probably going to be 8 mana because we want to play him after Eclipse. And he also has Spell Shield, making him hard to deal with. On play, invoke a celestial card that costs 7 or more. So you're shown 3 and then you get to pick 1. That's super nice. Round start, create a random celestial in hand. Also super good at continuing to give you resources, and they're usually like really big dudes in the late game. He levels up if your allies have 20 plus total power on the board round end, and that's really cool because when he levels up, he becomes one of the best cards in the entire game and one of the hardest cards to deal with. Round start, create a random celestial card in your hand. Also, all of your celestial cards cost 0, so you get to start playing some like really big dudes, really insane cards, high value spells, all for free, and you got to pick one of those right when you played him, and you're also getting free random ones every round start, so it's really hard for the opponent to deal with. Oftentimes, if you level up a soul, it's just checkmate and the opponent surrenders. That's how good this card is. If you don't get there right away, you can also use Dragon's Clutch and give Aurelion Sol Overwhelm along with the other dragons on your board, and you can also win that way. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how the deck plays out. I'll be giving context to why I'm playing certain cards, and hopefully it gives you a good feel on how to play the deck. And for the example game, we're going to be fighting another beginner-friendly deck, and that is Darkness. So this is going to be pretty interesting. We do have Fuse Firebrand, which is Spell Shield. Spell Shield's very good against them, to be honest. Same with Challenger, but we do have to be careful not to have too many high-cost cards in our early hand. I guess we could pass the first 2 turns, play White Flame, have Strafing Strike, and then pick one of these to keep. I'm gonna keep Screeching then, because I think the Challenger is just so valuable. Okay, and then we got Eclipse for mid-game. As long as we draw into Aesol, then we have the combo. Dragon's Clutch also gets us there. So that's pretty fine. Yeah. Sometimes it's okay for us to just pass the first couple turns. That way we have spell mana and also a unit coming down on turn 3. Or we can play out the Allegiance. Not feel too bad about that either. Gives us a 2/3 body. That's actually really good into Catalyzer, huh? That way we can stop that. Catalyzer comes down, then we have a unit that can deal with him. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I like this card. This is really cool. Just a quick 2/3 that also gives you An extra resource. Form up. That's nice. We'll probably play form up on turn 4. Wonder if it's get Wounded White Flame down right now. There's a couple things we could do. I like the idea of Wounded White Flame, and then we go into turn 4 floating 1, which gives us form up plus Strafing Strike mana, all on turn 4. So I do want to develop the White Flame. Especially if they play something like Vhagar, we can just kill it. Yep. They're on double Fearsomes, which means I can't block their units unless mine have 3 attack or more, and they currently do not, so we just have to take free damage. But it's fine, because they're playing a control deck, so we don't really mind taking a little bit of damage. Yep. We'll pass. And then I'd like to just send both of these on open attack, because no matter how they block, we can do a form up play, or we can do single combat. They could also just take 4, to be honest, which would be kind of interesting. But right now I'm just showing them, hey, I'd like to attack. If you want to block, go ahead. I do not mind. I'm even giving him the Allegiant potential trade. Alright, Booger Sentinel going up. This makes sense. And you try and do like a hate spike play or something? I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt there's some kind of like hate spike cheese going on here. Oh, Glimpse Beyond. That's something we're going to stop too. So I want to do single combat, Wounded White Flame, and this, right? Maybe Strafing is better. Actually, we end up at the same exact spot. Oh no, we get 1 extra HP if we do Strafing. I don't think that's worth. I'm down to just do single for the time being. And then see if we do form up. Or we save Strafing in case they're on Hate Spike or another Glimpse or something. So, to be honest, not bad. I'm pretty satisfied with this. We also got our Fated proc for the turn because that's a once per turn effect. And we get it via targeting with single. So overall, I'm just kind of happy about this. We're pretty rewarded for using our strike spells and stuff like that reactively rather than proactively. So we edge out a little bit here. And they cannot play Vhagar. If they play Vhagar, I'm going to kill him with Strafing Strike and we instantly win the game. And that's something that they want to develop right on 4 if they can. But I'm just not going to allow that. Like, I'm pretty sure they'll surrender if I Strafing Vhagar. Pie. Oh, they're just going to commit double Pie to him? Sure. I don't really mind. I can do the form up. Either that or I do Dragon's Clutch for +1, but I think I want to save that for the draw. That way I can get to Acel. I'm down to just form up. Next turn is probably Dragon's Clutch Strafing. And then I can do Screeching on 6. Yeah, on attack 6 that can come down, and then Eclipse 7. I kind of like that. We could also do Screeching this turn if we want, and then do open attack 6. I guess it depends on what they play. Vhagar? No, we're going to Strafing that right away, and then I think we win. Yeah, oh my gosh. That's such a big buff to White Flame. He's going to heal all the way back to full. Holy. Yeah, goodbye Vhagar. We can actually float our spell mana and play Dragon's Clutch next turn as well. After drawing 1 more. Holy guacamole. Alright, let's play Screeching. We're on all 3 of them, plus also double Eclipse. We got a 3 of a kind and a pair. Not bad. Pretty good for poker. And then 1 random Dragon's Clutch, which will probably fetch us Acel. It could hit the Shyvana. It could also hit the Spell Shield one too, though. The main thing we would be concerned about in this point in the game is Ruination, and that costs 9. Right now they're 1 mana short of it, so we're allowed to just develop and try to pressure this turn. Catalyzer, sounds good. We can go ahead and swing like this. Not a big deal at all. Alright, what are we looking at here? Vengeance! Yes, big vengeance. Sounds about right. Alright, let's go ahead and Dragon's Clutch to draw 2. And ideally try to hit Asol. Eclipse, Asol. There it is. Now we can just play Eclipse on 7, Asol on 8, and try to close out from there. We've done a pretty good job at just developing the board and keeping the opponents nice and empty. Basically what we want to do with this deck. Just develop big stats, use our stats to strike the enemy, and also drag the enemy into combat, and just get ahead. Because right now we are pretty even on HP, but we're up 2 on the board, and we have a lot more in our hand than they do. So that puts us in a fantastic spot. We also have the dastardly combo of Eclipse into Asol back to back, which is what you try to set up for. In this deck, you want to play turns 1 through 6, just developing, and then turn 7, try to commit that to Eclipse, and turn 8 Asol. But that's just the best you can do. Yep, sounds good. Each round, the first time you kill a unit with a spell, deal 2 to the enemy nexus. Ow! That's kind of rude. Just randomly shot me for 2. Alright. I see you. Asol time. Living Legends, always good. Immortal Fire, pretty good. Obliterate enemies with 3 or less power, it's okay. I think we always try to grab the Living Legends if we can. Because if we can get the level here, then Asol will cast that for free, and then all the Celestials that we fill our hand with will also be free. So that's usually the one to go for if you can pick it, even if your hand's pretty full. Acolyte, sounds good. Let's swing at both of these. I guess we could also swing at the 2-3 because it might die to darkness anyways, since they want to keep the Asol level down, so might as well swing with them. That way you get a little bit extra pressure. It's just cute.
You got guts.
Yeah, sounds good. Alternatively, they could try to like ping off the Asol spell shield and vengeance him later, but now that I'm threatening his level, we're just going to be met with darkness for sure. Oh, never mind. They're letting us level Asol.
This is about the last place I want to be.
Which is absolutely not the play, so that probably seals the deal. Yep. I thought maybe they're on another pie toss and they're going to kill him with 1 mana, but nope.
The constellations bow to me.
There we go. In our example game, we got Asol level. One of the hardest cards to play into, so this should just be like easy from here on out. There's not a lot they can do, I don't think. We're about to be really disgusting. Because I want to play out most of my hand and then refill it with a bunch of free Celestials. In which case, we're just going to start doing some crazy stuff here. Solari. Sure, you already have a darkness, so that's not a big deal. Don't really mind that too much. We could play Equinox on this. Silence that follower real quick. And then I want to try to get out as much of my hand as I can. That's probably Tracker into Screeching into Yuumi. Yeah, it seems pretty good. 6, 9 mana. Yeah, and then we can Living Legends after and refill up. I'm pretty satisfied. And they're only on 6 mana, so we basically just get to do whatever we want. And they have to sit back, relax, and watch us. Blade Twirler, sure. Tracker. Screeching, Yuumi. I want to attach Yuumi too. Asol? That sounds kind of funny. Yeah, I don't see why not. I think it'd probably be better just attached to something else, but there's something funny to me about a little cat just riding a cosmic space dragon into battle. It makes me want to do it for the meme. Yeah, why not? We're going to Yuumi Asol. No, they surrendered. Dude, they always surrender when Asol levels. This will happen every time you play dragons. And the next deck I have for you is Scouts, which abuses another big identity of Demacia, and that is going wide by playing a bunch of units and then attacking multiple times a turn with them via rally effects. Scouts are an absolute classic and is actually kind of easy to craft. It's definitely harder than Dragons, but it's not too difficult because you do start with the couple of Misfortunes, and you only have to invest a few epic cards to this deck. So let's get into it. We have Fleet Feather Tracker in the early game, same reason as Dragons. Shell Shocker, which is nice, 1 mana 2/1, Attune. When I'm summoned, refill 1 spell mana. This is important because we are going to be playing spells with this deck, so we basically get to play a free 2/1 and then we get to cast spells pretty efficiently. Next we have Duran Sculptor, a 2 mana 2/2. When you summon another ally, grant it 0/1, so plus 1 HP goes a long way. Duran Sculptor really nice to develop right on turn 2, and then everything we play after, like Mariah Warden and also the unit that it summons, will get buffed. Petricite Broadwing will get buffed. Misfortune herself will get buffed right after Sculptor's turn, so it's super nice. It helps snowball your lead and makes it kind of hard for the opponent to deal with. If they couldn't deal with Sculptor, it's going to be even harder to deal with all the units that you're summoning to get HP buffs. Next we have Double Form Up, again, really good Demacia card, would recommend. Double Inspiring Light coming in, 2 mana slow speed spell, grant allies +1/+1. This is because we are going wide quite often. We're going to have 4 to 5 units on our board in the mid game, sometimes a full 6 if we can get there, and we just basically get a lot of value out of a 2 mana slow speed spell that buffs them all. Next we have a new card, Magical Fettering, 2 mana slow speed spell, grant an ally 0/2 and curse your opponent with suppression. Curses are a new mechanic to the game that just came out, and they are very strong. Suppression and shackles are really good. So I like suppression a lot. It makes it harder for the opponent to out your boards with their spells because they cannot play any spells until they spend 2 mana to get rid of suppression from their hand. You're effectively ripping 2 mana from them, which is super valuable because you're going to be continuing to build your board and get further ahead, and the opponent's going to be set back. And that's really hard for them to deal with, especially with how powerful and how explosive Scouts can get. Next we have Mariah Warden, 2 mana 2/1. When I'm summoned, summon a random 1-cost follower. So we're going to be getting a 2-for-1 deal on this unit. And that's really nice because they both get hit by Sculptor. They're both really good Inspiring Light targets. There's a lot of great 1-drops in the game. Sometimes you'll just get like really good high rolls. Sometimes you'll get some bad cards too, like a 0-attack unit that does nothing, but that's okay. For the most part, Mariah Warden going to be hitting high value for you. Next we have Petricite Broadwing, which is our best fettering target because it will make Broadwing go up to 5 HP, and then also strike into better targets for us. But yeah, same thing as Dragons, it's just a really good Demacia card. Would recommend crafting it ASAP. It's flexible, you can throw it into like any Demacia deck, and you'll be pretty happy. Misfortune, really nice, 3 mana 3/3. When allies attack, deal 1 to all battling enemies and the enemy nexus, so she gets in a little bit of cheap damage. She has really good synergy with challenger units, that's why Broadwing is really good in here, and Fleet Feather Tracker, because you can pull things into combat and they take 1 damage for free, and then they get struck into, so Misfortune's really good at that. She levels up if you attack 4 times while Misfortune's on the board. That's really important. She resets if she dies. So the same Misfortune needs to see 4 attack calls and then she'll level. On level up, she has Overwhelm and also deals her 1 damage passive 3 separate times. So she'll deal 3 to all battling enemies and also 3 to the enemy nexus, which is super good. If you do level up Misfortune, it's usually just over. Next we have Vanguard Sergeant, 3 mana 3/3. When I'm summoned, create a 4 Demacia in hand. 4 Demacia is a 6-cost slow speed spell that gives all allies +3/+3 this round, which is really good. It's just a very cracked version of Inspiring Light, which was that +1/+1 if you remember. So 4 Demacia is going to be setting up our boards to win the game essentially. We are developing, we're going wide, we're playing 4, 5, 6 units on the board, and then just basically turning them into lethal pushes using 4 Demacia. So that's a really nice card. We'd love to see that. Next we have Island Navigator, 4 mana 2/4. She has Scout. Scout is a really good keyword, especially for Misfortune, because Scout units get to attack for free if they are the only units that are attacking in the turn. So what you want to do is just attack with your Scouts that you have, and it gives you a second attack with everything else. So Misfortune loves that because that's already 2 of her level up procs, as long as you get your Scout attack in and then also your regular attack. Misfortune will also do her passive both times, which is absolutely insane. Again, I cannot stress this enough. This deck is really good at getting ahead and then really pushing that snowball effect forward. So super nice there. Also, she will summon a random 1-cost follower and grant it Scout as well. So if you're in a pretty bad spot and you can only attack with the 1-drop, you can do that. And then that will help level up Misfortune and then keep your pressure going. So that's super cool. I love that. Next, we have a new suppression card, Mage Seeker Inquisitor, 4-mana 3/2 with Challenger and Tough. So he's a little bit tankier. And he has Challenger, which is really synergistic with Misfortune, as I mentioned earlier. When I've summoned, curse your opponent with Suppression. So this is really good. Again, if we can play like Misfortune on defense 3, and then first action Inquisitor on 4, the opponent's going to be set back a lot. They have to spend 2 mana on the Suppression, and now they have to deal with a Challenger unit that Misfortune's also helping kill things with, and he's kind of tanky. So yeah, it just puts the opponent in a really, really bad spot. So we love to see that. Next, we have our other champion, Quinn, which is a Scout champion. She has the same level up condition as Misfortune, so that's why they're paired together. When I'm summoned, summon Valor. Valor is a Scout unit that also has Challenger, so Misfortune loves this, of course. And then you can level up both and be really, really annoying. On level up, Quinn summons a free Valor every time she does an attack call, and the Valor will automatically challenge the strongest enemy. Next, we have Double Genevieve. This is an epic, so she's a little bit more costly. 6 mana 5/4 with Challenger and Scout, so she's just a cracked version of Valor. Also, when I'm summoned, give other allies +1/+1 this round, so she also comes with a free Inspiring Light effect for the round. This is really good if you're attacking on evens, so you can set up, go wide, and then play Genevieve. First action, attack turn 6, and then you can pressure the board, grab some things that are really annoying, and try to close out from there. If you cannot close out from there, we have 2 Champion Strength, which is another epic you will have to shill out for. I know it sucks, but we gotta do what we gotta do, and that is play Champion Strength and instantly win the game in a lot of board states. Give allies 4/4 this round and rally. So if you do this on defense turn and you rally, you're going to get really big +4/+4 dudes. However, you can attack with only scouts this turn, and then it will ready your attack, allowing you to attack again, essentially giving you 2 rallies for the price of 1 champion strength. So that's really important. Make sure you do your scout attacks because it lets you attack again. And that's absolutely insane. So yeah, champion strength is like a 1-card win con if you're already set up. And it's just like a better version of For Demacia. So yep, there's that. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. And for the example game, we're going to be fighting ElderDragon Volibear, another popular deck. It just came out this patch. A lot of people are playing that. If you're new to the game and you're surprised by this, yes, we can play as the ElderDragon in Legends of Runeterra, which is really cool. So what we want to do is be the aggressor, and we want to kill them as fast as possible before they ramp up into their late game cards. So to do that, we have Fleet Feather Tracker, Warden, Navigator. That's pretty fine. I don't think we want Shell Shocker. I do like the ability for us to go wide. Maybe get rid of Island Navigator because we're attacking on odds. That doesn't feel as good. I don't want to play her on defense 4, I don't think. So let's try to get some of our mid-game cards to synergize with our +1 and our 2, you know? 1 and 2 drops. We'll show Tracker. Swing. We could also do Tracker, Warden, Inspiring Light. Pretty nice. We have to worry about Avalanche, which is a deal 2 to everything, though. So that's going to be a bit annoying. Just a bit, though. Alright, Warden.
Oh, I've never met anyone like you.
Yeah, I kind of want to open attack here and deal 6. That way we don't get Avalanche once we play MF. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Let them Avalanche my board if they want. They're probably not going to, though. They're just going to ramp up. And then we play Misfortune.
Fortune favors the bold.
Now here's the deal. If they play Avalanche next turn, we can just redevelop. That's going to be our play. If they ramp, then we get to develop as well. Oh, interesting. I'm kind of down to play Tracker here. They still have Avalanche mana. Let's be cautious. That's interesting. I think we could let that hit, to be honest. Yeah, I'm down to let that hit. I don't want to sacrifice any of my units. There's no way they Avalanche us now, right? I guess they could. If they do, we just play Quinn. It's okay. Inspiring Light. Yeah. They don't have Avalanche. They would have done it by now. We should just win on turn 6 or turn 5 even. This deck is very aggressive. If we don't win on 5, we'll rally on 6 and win that way. They have to be on Harsh Winds to stop this. 3 Sisters. Flash Freeze. Like, look how quickly we have a full attacking board. I swear this deck is really scary. Dead. Just dead on turn 5. And the last deck I have for you is kind of a new deck, kind of an old deck. Well, I guess it's most like an old deck, but with some new flair. And that is Garen Elites, but also including the new ElderDragon card that just came out. This is going to be the most expensive to craft. That's why I have it here at the end. It costs at least 5 epics, and also you're going to have to craft the ElderDragon on top of the 3 Garens. But honestly, you don't have to run more champions than that, so this could be budget in some way. I guess if you're just on a bunch of epic wildcards, then this one should feel pretty good for you. So yeah, this is another build 'em up, beat 'em down playstyle that Demacia is known for. However, we're going to be abusing the elite tag and certain synergies that they have together in order to get to our wins. The first thing we should actually talk about, though, is what ElderDragon is doing in here. So when you add at least one ElderDragon into your deck, it turns your deck into Elder Region plus whatever else you're running. In this case, we're running Elder Region plus Demacia. So what Elder does is allows you to run 6 cost units from anywhere. So it allows your mono region, like Demacia Elites, to run out of region cards. So in this deck, for example, we have Sign-In from Ionia, but we also have Enraged Fire Spitter from Noxus coming in here. So it's really interesting. Another thing it does is it gives your 6 cost units extra buffs. So whenever you play one, you're shown 2 of these boons, they're called. They're all just like the elemental drakes from League of Legends. You're shown 2 and you get to pick one. They're all really good. They're all flexible. They all come up in different game states, but they're all just like a free buff that your 6-drop gets, and that's really cool. So in the early game, we have Cytheria, 1 mana 2/2 Elite. We love the Elite tag. Trusty Ramhound, 1 mana 1/1, because the first time you summon an Elite, grant me 2/2, so this is a 1 mana 3/3, which is really, really scary. Next we have Battlesmith, which is a 2 mana 2/2. When you summon an Elite, grant it 1/1. You see what we're doing with this? We're going to be playing a lot of our Elites, and they're going to be getting +1/+1 boosts. That way we can just outmuscle the board. Next we have Triple Form Up, again, classic Demacia card. You want to craft this. Really nice for combat, really nice for protection. Double Single, good strike spell. Next we have another Elite, 2 mana 2/2 with Tough. It can come down as a 3/3 with Tough if Battlesmith hits it, which is really insane. Next we have Blocking Badger Bear, 3 mana 4/4. I can block units with Elusive. That's really nice. So if you're tired of getting cheesed by elusive decks, hey, we got Blocking Badger Bear in here, and also Single Combat to keep the opponent's boards down. It's also an Elite, so there's synergy there. Can come down as a 5/5, which is super chill. And next we have a couple Vanguard Sergeant. Same reason as in the Scout deck that I just covered. 3 mana 3/3, creating the for Demacia is nice. We're not going wide as often as Scouts are, so we only run him at 2. That way for Demacia comes up whenever we need it. Next we have triple Vanguard Squire, 3 mana 3/3 Elite. When you summon an Elite, reduce my cost by 1. She has to be in your hand for the cost reduction to take effect, so oftentimes you keep a Squire or 2, and then you play your other Elites in the early game, and then you can play her for free, like turn 3, turn 4, and that's really, really insane. Next we have Silverwing Vanguard, 4 mana 2/1 with Challenger. Play summon an exact copy of me, so you'll get 2 2/1s. If Battlesmith is on the board, they'll both be 3 2s because it is an Elite. So that's really nice, and Challenger is obviously a really good keyword. Demacia loves that. Demacia loves trading into things and controlling the board that way. Next we have Garen, our first champion, 5 mana 5/5. He has regen, so he heals fully at the end of round. Love that. When I'm summoned, give other allies +1/+1. So he does also support our slightly go wide strategy. If we get like 3 or 4 Demacians on the board, we can play Garen, and then boom, that's a nice, +1/+1 to each of them, and then you can push over the opponent's board that way. He levels up if he strikes twice. That's really nice if you can cheese it with single combat, and then round start you get a free attack, which is absolutely insane, basically making it to where if your board is ahead, you're just instantly winning the game outright through his effect. Then we have Ardent Tracker, so this is one of the best cards in the deck. I call this card a 1-card pressure tool, so it gets cheaper as you play Elites, and it's also a Scout unit. So what's going to happen is you're going to play Ardent Tracker for like 3 or 4 mana, maybe even like sometimes 2 if you can get it down there, and that's really cool. And then it will gain a boon because it costs 6 normally. So the ElderDragon is going to buff it, and you can get like +1/+1 Fearsome on this, and then have a Fearsome Scout attacker, which is really scary. You can put Challenger on it and make it basically a mini Genevieve, and that's really cool too. And then you get to basically just help beat over the board with the enhanced stats and with the extra attack. So really, really cool card. Next, we have double Enraged Fire Spitter, which is a 6 mana 8/4 challenger. It's going to gain a buff from the boon, which is cool. Also, on play, deal 2 to an enemy and also 2 to the enemy nexus. So you can kill high priority targets or enemy units that have already been damaged and then try to challenge into another high priority target. What's really cool about this is it gives elites like a burn finish that the opponent might not be ready for. They might block and purposely go down to like 2 HP because they think they're like safe at that threshold, and then you just Fire Spitter and close out the game. And that's really cool. Elites have never had access to this, so that's why Enraged Fire Spitter comes in. Speaking of something elites never had access to, and that is a draw 2 effect on a body. Now, with ElderDragon, we can play Sign In here, which is the best card in the deck. That's why this one's really expensive. It does cost epic wildcards to make this thing, but you want 3 ASAP, because this is better Garen. It's a 6 mana 3/5, so it's going to get the boon, because it costs 6. And it's also going to give allies 1/1 like Garen does, but also on summon, it draws you 2 cards, which is so good because elites want to dump their hand and they want to just like win with their board. Being able to draw 2 in order to stay ahead of the opponent is absolutely insane, because then you could have access to more late game stuff to play and refill the board. You could draw into form up for lethals or protection, single combats. It's just kind of like really, really good. Like, Sign In is probably the best card in the deck. So yeah, we love that. Especially if you play Garen on defense 5 into Sign In on attack 6. The opponent just doesn't get to play, it feels like. So really, really good curve. And rounding us off, we have the ElderDragon himself, which we talked about his passive earlier. Also, he's Fury. Also, he costs 1 less for each boon you play this game. Oftentimes, you're not going to play him, but I guess you can in later games. On play, he puts every single boon buff onto himself. So he stacks 1 of each of these. And that feels really nice. So he's going to be a big dude with like fearsome impact, challenger, tough, all that good stuff. And then he levels if you attack with 75 plus power over the course of the game. On level 2, this unit can't be stopped. And that's all there is to him. He can't be stopped. But what that means is, yeah, he cannot be blocked and he cannot be negatively affected. So you basically win the game. If you start an attack call with ElderDragon and he levels, the opponent cannot block him, they cannot chump block, they can't do anything, they can't vengeance him, they can't frostbite him, they can't recall him, nothing. He literally cannot be stopped. The only thing that stops him is like the puff cap landmark, but that's the only thing that can stop him. So ElderDragon, absolutely insane. You're probably not going to get this off, but like, you theoretically can, and I think that's pretty interesting. Over the course of 100 games, you might do this, and you'll feel really epic doing so. But yeah, this is a really broken meta deck right now too, so I would recommend it, especially if you are a returning player and you have a elite core already built. It's not going to be super hard to just add the 1 Elder and a couple epics to this, and then you basically just have like one of the best decks in the meta. So yeah, would recommend. And that's it for the rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how it plays out. And for the example game, we're going to be fighting a Riven Morgana, so this is meta versus meta. One of the most classic and popular matchups you're going to get right now. Also, our hand is very good. Cytheria, Battlesmith, Badger Bear, and Single? I mean, this is just perfectly keepable. We want to cast Single Combat on our Badger Bear because he's going to be a 5/5 when he comes down. And we can use that to kill either of their champions. We also have Form Up for protection, so this just feels insane. Attack with that. And then we play Battlesmith, and then we play Badger Bear. Oh, Tracker. I wish it was in my hand last turn. Oh well. Okay, Rune Weaver, sure. So they're going to be making Riven Blade pieces. Sounds good. Let me get the Badger Bear down. Toronto. Now that's a 5-man Art Tracker. Okay. That's fine. We'll take a stun. We're not going to attack because our units are weaker than theirs. We don't really want to attack. Ramhound, okay. I'm down to play Ramhound and then Ardent next turn on 5. That's pretty good. Also floats us 3 mana so we can play one of our spells. If they just play Riven here, by the way, I'm probably going to single combat her with our blocking Badger Bear. Okay, Lisa and Dolly. That's fine. Let's unshackle our unit. So what they just did is a shackle effect. I have to spend 2 mana to get access to my unit again, because right now it's immobile. It cannot attack or block. So I'm going to shackle and then play Ramhound. And then we play Tracker next turn. We don't have the spell mana to play these anymore, but that should be fine. I think I want to just build our board right now. Yep, sounds good. Alright. Ardent Tracker time. And for our boon, we shall gain 1/1 and Fearsome's pretty good. It means it can't get chump blocked as much.
Today I uphold my oath.
It gets buffed by Battlesmith. Because it's an elite, it also buffs my Ramhound. So that just feels good overall. We have a very nice board developed here. Oh no, Morgana. She shackled my unit for 4 mana. That's such a good counter for our strategy here. I guess we can just attack with Badger Bear and call it a day. Not so bad, I suppose. Oh man, that's rough actually. Morgana to shackle or scout. Oh dear. Well, hopefully we can still put some pressure out next turn. Fire Spitter's pretty good. I'd like to play Sign In next turn though if I can. Squire. Okay, go ahead. What else are you doing? That's only 2 blade pieces they have right now, right? It's no biggie, I suppose. Razor Mace. Okay. Razor Mace also coming up here, I see. What I probably want to do is a form up and single combat play this turn. I would like to just lead with single combat now. I think this is my best target. Just go ahead and kill the Morgana. There shouldn't be a lot they can do about this unless they have Spell Shield or something. Okay. Seems good. You're grabbing my 5/2. You are a 4/4. Quick attack. Oh wow. Alright, so what I'm thinking is I could just take the 4. I could do form up here and then my Badger Bear gets to live, which I kind of like. And then next turn we can do Shackles plus Sign In is going to be my play. So yeah. Let's put our unit up to 4. That way we threaten this Rune Squire here. And this unit's overwhelmed. It's going to hit me with Ichor anyway, so I'm just going to take it. Yep, there's Ichor. We're going to hold on to that, though. Alright. Now we have enough mana to do Shackles plus Sign In, right? Should take up our whole turn, but probably worth. Shackles, Sign In. And then we grant this Deathless or we heal. What's really cool is if we give it Deathless, our unit can die and then revive. And on res, it's also going to give us +2 again, which is kind of insane. It's either that or heal now. Do we care about healing? I mean, we kind of do. I think we care about healing. Our hand state's already pretty good. It'd be kind of greedy to go for the Deathless one. I think we're in a decent spot. So we can go ahead and heal up. Just make our board nice and big. Ribbon, yep. Then we scout attack with our increased stat unit. If we only attack with the scout, we get to attack again after. That is a lot of damage. They're also on both of their champions, I'm just now realizing. But I think our elites are just a little bit better than their champions. Our hand's kind of dastardly. We can also play Sergeant. Dark Binding, okay. Sheesh, we're getting shackled quite a lot here. So we're going to attack with our 6/5 for sure, our 4/4 for sure, our 3/5, and then we could probably do 3/3. I'm down to also just keep these as blockers. Yeah. There's no world where we have to keep Sithri on board though, I don't think.
I'll do my best.
This seems pretty satisfactory. We're just not going to send the Battlesmith. We can replace the Sithria so fast, and I kind of want to do Fire Spitter, so if they block with the Razor Mace or the Ribbon, so be it.
We're not playing.
If they damage Ribbon, then we can finish her off. Cool.
What could have been?
Alright. So that's what we're going to try to do. Even if they level Ribbon, she goes to 2, and then we can shoot her with our Fire Spitter here. Oh, it's open attack. Alright, just gonna put another Ichor. Huh. Unless I do this. Now you have to be on a buff, like Might or something, or Brother's Bond. Okay, sure. Double Might? Yo, okay. Chill, bro, it's only dealing 5. That's actually not even that good for them. Yeah. I'm kind of down to, yeah, I guess we just win out. Player Dragon, Scout Attack with Shackles. Kind of doomed for them. And that's it for Demacia. Extra shout out to the patrons on screen. Much love and thank you for supporting. So for some closing thoughts, I think that Demacia is one of the easiest regions to get into, and a lot of their cards and even playstyles are shared between the decks. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a sub if you're new, and also a like for the algorithm. That way other new players can see this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters.